Hey everybody, welcome back to Jimini's Promo, and today I'm going to show you guys how I set up my Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Now the other title of this video could be, hey, you got the Galaxy S21, now what? And the title could also be the first 15 settings to change the moment you get yourself a Samsung Galaxy device. Now really all these steps here that I'm about to show you, I do this with every single Samsung phone. Usually I set up my phone first the way I want it to look, then I move over and then I start doing Samsung Smart Switch after that. Now Samsung Smart Switch will be another video here in the very near future, but I do want to show you everything I do on my phone, so this way if you want to copy it, go ahead, or at least get just a few different options that you're able to do on your phone that you can put on top of what you already do. So the first thing I usually do is I'll press and hold on the screen here and I head inside of the settings. Then this is where I change the home screen grid, because really this is not taking up, it's not doing a good job of facilitating the home screen. It's really wasting a bunch of space. You can see that all these bigger grids here are larger, which is just not, for me, not doing a really good job. So you can go with the 5x5 or 5x6. Sometimes I do the 5x6 so I can really take advantage of this large screen. But for right now, I'll just do 5x5 just to see what I think of this one. Worst case, I might move my Google bar up and then make it also a little bit smaller. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll head right back inside of the settings and then this time do the app screen grid. Now you can see here that I really didn't download many apps just yet. I didn't do Samsung Smart Switch, so there would be a ton more pages, but this is just going to make sense if you do the 6x6. So this way you can have more applications on one screen, making it a lot quicker to actually find things. But here you can see that not only is it not in alphabetical order, but it's not, basically fixed. It's still in 2 pages when the majority of all those apps could be moved over here. So now that you've changed your grid, go to the very top, and then you can actually go on the very top, you hit on clean up pages. So once you clean up the pages, it's going to put them all into one page sitting right here to the best of its ability. But still also too, it is not in alphabetical order. So what I'm going to do is now that I've cleaned up the pages, I'll hit on apply. And then one more time on the very top, I'm going to go to sort, and I want it to go in alphabetical order. So here we are, we have it sorted, we have it condensed, we have larger, a bigger grid. So then this way you can view more on one page. So then the moment that you go right back inside of your application tray, it's just gonna make a lot of sense. Now this next thing would be the widget right up over here. So I'm going to make this one just a little bit smaller. I'm going to put it right up over there. Yours might look a little bit different. Simply all I did was I just press and held. I went inside of widgets, and then I went inside of the weather, and then I just kind of changed it for whichever one you would like to use. So now that I've put it on the very top, the next one I usually like to change will also be this little Google search bar. So I usually like to bring it down just a little bit, but you can go just a little bit further. So when you go inside of your little Google search bar here, when you tap on that, on the very bottom right hand side, you hit on more, and then inside of more, go to customize widget. So inside of here, I usually like to just throw in the word, Google, and then I'm going to go and hit on close. When you're completely done, you hit on done. That's the whole entire thing, but you just want to hit on close with each individual one, and then you can choose how you want it to look. I do like the rounded corners. And then with the colors here, if I tap right there, I love the way that this looks. You can go through and you can change the color. I've shown this multiple times. Sometimes I go with like a green or blue, some really cool color that really stands out, but I'm going to stick with the classic black and white. So that's what it's going to look like right there. So my front page here is looking pretty good until later on when I add in all my folders. So when I do Samsung Smart Switch, I create other folders. So then this way I can put my everyday things right there. Usually this Microsoft one would usually be gone, so I can just do that right now. This one would probably say like YouTube, and then I'll also have another one that says tools, things like that. Now the next thing that you want to do is when you do a pinch to zoom on the left hand side, this is where you can choose if you want to use the Samsung Free or if you want to use Google Discover. Now this is something that's a part of Samsung One UI 3.1. I don't believe it's there yet on 3.0 where you're able to change between free and Discover, but I like the Google Discover. If you don't want to use any of those services, just simply turn it off. And then basically now when you try to swipe over and try to see what's on the left, nothing will pop up. But if you do want to use that Google Discover, which I highly suggest, is just another way to get news, then all you'd have to do is just simply swipe on over to the left, And then here you go, you can read all of this. Oh yeah, and if you guys are brand new here at the channel, Jimmy is promo, and you appreciate these tips, tricks, tutorials, and the latest information on your Samsung Galaxy devices, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, as well as the bell for notifications so you get notified for all future videos. And please, for the YouTube algorithm, give this thing a huge thumbs up. It'll definitely make this video be appeared and pushed to more and more people. So now let's head over to this side button over here, because right now, if you wanted to press and hold to turn off your phone, it's going to take you right inside of Bixby. Now, if that's something that you don't want to use, if you swipe down twice and you see this little power button, you can go to your side key settings, and then this is where you can switch it over into power off menu. Now, the double press of the side key right here to open up the camera is super smart. I usually like to keep that there. And since you're able to easily open up your camera by double pressing on the power button, one of the other things you can do is when you go inside of your lock screen, for the lock screen right over here, and then you scroll down to those little shortcuts. Now, originally, this right shortcut does actually say camera, but if you can automatically already open up camera by double pressing over here, you might as well make it easy on yourself on the lock screen to make one of those shortcuts something different. So for me, the way that I had mine set up was I just put the phone on the left and then YouTube on the right. And anytime that you download more applications, you can use really any application on the left or the right hand side. Now, heading back inside of the settings right up over here, I do need to change a few things that's really bothering me at the moment. So I head inside of the display. Inside of the display, this is where you can scroll down, and then you can change your screen resolution. And yes, on the Galaxy S21 Ultra, you can go with that WQHD+, also with that adaptive motion smoothness. So you can have all the way up to 120 Hertz of the refresh rate. Now, once you switch to that one, you're going to scroll down. Screen timeout, I always put it for 2 minutes, because a lot of times I might walk away, then come right back within the 2 minutes. Or when I'm shooting a YouTube video, I like to keep the screen on longer than the 30 seconds because it always times out. And you can see that I've already kept on touching my screen just so then this way it wouldn't time out on you guys. So 2 minutes is usually where I go there. If you go 5 or 10 minutes, just remember you might be using a little bit more battery. Now, underneath the navigation bar, this is completely optional, up to you. I'm a huge fan of the swipe gestures. Again, anytime that you go inside of something, when you swipe from the edge of the screen, it doesn't matter if you're doing it on the left or the right hand side of the screen. Swiping on just goes back, swiping up goes back home, swiping up and holding will take you inside of your recent applications. And so, you know what, you got Android, what is that, Android 11, so you might as well use that. It's been there since Android 10, and the swiping is just so much better than having icons on the bottom. And again, it just makes your phone look dated. So you might as well just keep it clean and crisp and just use the gestures. Now, the next thing to do is just swipe down, so this way you can open up all these different icons. You can also see your brightness level right there. But here's the thing, when you swipe down once, there's many other tools that could be shown in this screen. And what you want to do is press on those 3 little dots, go to quick panel layout, and turn on these 2 options here, which is show device and media buttons, as well as show the brightness control above. And it's just going to be so much better. So when you swipe down once, this is where you can control things with Samsung Smart Things. So you can go inside your devices, so you can control your TVs, you can go to your media, so you can connect with or change anything that you're connected to via Bluetooth. And then here's your display that you're able to change, you know, just right there. It makes it super simple. One pull down, you have all these tools versus having to do it twice. And then again, when you do pull it down twice, your devices and media is there. This is where you also have your brightness line. I believe that this other one here, that was showing it above. So let me see what it looks like. So here, that was that option for showing the devices in media is going to be this one right here. So you might as well just keep both of those on, and then also the one on the very top. Now, the next thing is that since we do have this one pulled down, let's take a look at some of these buttons right here. So when you go to editing of some of the buttons, on the very top, you're going to have all these other different settings that are not there automatically. So Dolby Atmos, that's something that you should turn on and use. You might also like to use secure folder. So this way, if you have any images, documents that you don't want other people to see, maybe it's a shopping list or something for Valentine's Day coming up here, or something just with work in general, you can put it right inside of that secure folder. You also have enhanced processing. So anybody who wants to turn it on or off when they're playing games, then you can make that thing, you know, just sit right there. And then maybe wireless power share. And if you're somebody with kids, you can also use the kids home. And then here's some of the other ones that you'd also be able to use as well. Live caption is something that is pretty good to have, but it's usually on the volume rocker already on 3.0 and 3.1. And then once you have them all lined up in the bottom right up over here, you do probably want to go through and change some of these so it kind of makes sense. I'm not going to do that at this moment in time, but I do want to let you know if you do press and hold on any of these icons, you can move them to whichever screen you want. So this way it makes sense on what is shown first. So you can see here, I hit on done, and here is all of those quick settings right there that I can get to. So if you needed to move these around, I'm not going to do it in this video. It's going to take up a little bit of time, but you're able to change the order and organize all of this. Now, before we get inside of all the camera settings that I like to change, I do want to move just a few more things to turn on, which is just dealing with the settings instead of just the camera itself. Now, when you go inside of the settings up over here, scroll down over inside of your advanced features. And then inside of the advanced features, if you go to motions and gestures, then you want to do this option here for lift to wake up. It just makes it really simple. Yeah, you can double tap it to turn on the screen. Now you can also double tap it to turn off the screen when you're on the home page. But lift to wake is also very convenient. So this way, if you know you got a notification, you know something came through, you heard the vibration, once you lift up your phone, it'll wake the phone for you. And if you have your face recognition turned on, then it'll automatically unlock for you. I mean, it's a very fluid experience just from lifting your phone and already have it being unlocked. Then one more setting that we can change will be inside of the wallpapers on the very bottom left hand side. This is where I like to use the Wallpaper Services. I love dynamic lock screen. I'm going to go inside of the settings here, and the cool thing with One UI 3.0 and 3.1 is that you're able to use more categories. Now, this just means that every single time that you go to unlock your phone, it's going to show you a different wallpaper, which is definitely, I think, to be pretty cool. Some of the categories I like to use is special. I also really love art. Art is probably the best category that's on here. And then maybe life. Life is pretty cool. It brings in a different style of category like every single 2 or 3 weeks. So this one could be focusing on like the color red, or it could be focusing on architecture or something. It's pretty cool that it'll just show you different things. Special usually focuses on just one specific thing. So like again, this could be like the color red. Anything red will come in. Anything dealing with wrapping or Christmas or something could also go inside of there as well too. So now I got 3 different categories, and so every single time that I unlock or go to my lock screen, it's going to show me a completely different image. So that should be pretty much all of the settings to really change, other than everything I'm about to show you here inside of the camera. Now, if you do want to set up your fingerprint and also the facial recognition, all you gotta do is just go right back inside of your settings. Then you go to Biometrics and Security. That's where you set up your fingerprints and face recognition. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I really need to show that. But when you do set up your fingerprint, one of the things I usually like to mention to you guys is when you set up the fingerprint, go with your right thumb, left thumb, right thumb, left thumb, right thumb, left thumb. Just keep doing that all the way till it's finished for one profile. So this way you can unlock it with one profile set up with both of your thumbprints. It just makes it super easy. And then if you want to add another fingerprint, you can actually just do your significant other, then they can also do both of their fingerprints. So technically in this phone, there's 4 fingerprints set up underneath 2 profiles, and it's gonna make your phone unlock super quick. Now let's head inside of the camera, because there is a few different settings I usually like to change here. Now this is just my personal opinion. Some people might not agree with it. I'm not really a huge fan of the 3:4 ratio. I do like that bigger experience, like what we're used to here on a cell phone. This is 9:16. This is what you see. I'm not using a phone that's a 3:4. I'm not using a BlackBerry like back in the day, so I'm not going to keep it with that resolution there. Now the other thing too is that when you do switch it with the rear camera, you do need to go to the front camera, and you want to switch it there as well. Then what you want to do is head over inside of your video, and then inside of video, this is where you can change your resolution. So this full HD, you can go up to the 8K 24 frames per second. I remember a long time ago when I was leaking this that it was 24 frames. People were like, hey, it should be 30. I'm like, no, it's 24. And it's really just to keep the phone from getting super hot, and also to keep the file size much smaller. So with this one, I usually like the Ultra HD. You can do Ultra HD 60 frames per second or 30. They both actually look really good. 60 is going to be a little bit more smooth. Then you can do the same thing right up over here with the front facing camera. You can switch it to the Ultra HD. I usually like to do 30. That's good for me. The quality of this camera is fantastic. So it's all definitely going to look very good. Now on the bottom, you can see here, you only have a few options. You know, you got your photo, the video, and more. And sometimes people might like that. It keeps it really simple, clean. If they want to go to the more shooting modes, you just head over to more and there you go. But if you wanted to add some of these down, then you could bring in like director's view. Another one that I really like to use is Pro. So I'm going to put Pro right up here before director's view. And then I think Pro Video. So I'm a big fan of these ones here. So I'm going to use Pro Video, Pro for photo, and then director's view, and I'm gonna hit save. If there's any of these other ones I want to do, I'll just head over inside of more. Now the next thing that you also want to do is underneath single take. Inside of single take, you can change this setting over here that it's able to take whatever footage you're doing in 15 seconds rather than 10 seconds. So it's going to capture just a little bit more. Then also too, it's an updated thing for Samsung or for a single take. So if you hit this down arrow, it's going to show you the types of shots to capture. So sometimes when you do single take and you notice that there was like filtered photos and you didn't like what they did, you can just simply turn it off. You also have like wide cropped shots. You can turn that one off if you want to, but really I'm going to keep all of it on just because you never really know what you want until it's really captured. And that's the cool thing about single take, is that it does it all for you. And then you can take a look at everything once it's all finished. Then on the very top for photos, go to the settings button right here. Now I always turn this one off right there. So save selfies as previewed. Anytime I see someone who takes a selfie and I see that they're wearing Nike or Adidas or a Chiefs hat or whatever it may be, if this is turned on, all of those words are backwards, and it's super, for me, it's just annoying. It's something that just kind of captures my attention, and I'm not really a big fan of that one. So if I want to, so let me just show you really fast. I mean, it's already kind of a long video, but let's say that we keep this on. This is the way it is for stock. You know, we're going to go for, you know, a selfie right here. So if I was to put this dice right there, then I take the picture. What's going to happen is now when you take a look at it, this is distracting. This is something that your brain is doing something. You're not focusing on what you should be looking at. You're looking at those words right there, which, you know, again, distraction was the word I was looking for. So if you go to, if you turn this off, so make sure you turn it off because it's always on for some reason by stock. And then when you take a picture now, when you take your selfies, everything's going to look normal. There's nothing in there that is going to really distract you, you know, from what was what was this. So when you take a look at this picture, it looks really good. Granted, I was kind of at an angle, but it's so much better than this one here because now you're just focusing on the words, and that it's opposite and backwards, that you're not really focusing again on kind of what is going on. So we went over the 9:16. We talked about the ratios. We talked about all these different shooting modes and really some of the other settings that we changed. So that's pretty much everything that I do with my phone. From here, this is kind of where I go through and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to do Samsung Smart Switch because now my phone is set up the way that I want it to be set up. And then I move these icons around, things like that. Again, one thing that I may possibly do is go back inside of the settings. I might change my screen grid, or not the app grid, but the home screen grid, maybe to this 5:6. So then this way I have just a little bit more room, but I'm gonna leave it here again, at least just for now. But I hope you guys have liked this video, appreciated this video. Hopefully it's helped you out. Hopefully, you know, maybe you took a few of these, you know, with you to your phone as well. But if you guys liked it, please give this thing a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Subscribe right over here on the very bottom left hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.